All right, so serving in the military is never actually going to get us rich. In this episode, I'm going to show you some of the best side jobs for the military. All right, so first I'm going to talk about why I needed extra money in the military. And then I'm going to talk about some of the side jobs that I had in the military. And by the end of this, you're going to see exactly what you can do to earn extra money without having to get a job while in the military. Hey guys, it's Brent Bowers. I've done over 385 land deals. I've created a company where I have about 18 members, and each month we are paid over 100 times for our land deals. In this episode, I'm going to share with you some of the things I did to start this while I was in the military, and ultimately how I was able to get out of the military with financial freedom, time freedom, geography freedom that allows me to live anywhere in the world, and then ultimately there is next to no competition in this business. All right, let's start out with why I needed another job in the military. When I joined the military, I was doing pretty well, about a year prior to that. I had my own business, I had a rental property, I had a real estate license, and then 2008 really pulled the rug from out from underneath me. I was behind on bills. Me and my ex-wife, we ended up having to move in, my in-laws, her parents, and I was ultimately paying credit card bills with other credit cards. So things were getting pretty tough on me, and I ended up joining the military to go back to school, start earning income again, and just kind of change my financial future, my outcome. Well, I had to hustle a little bit in basic training and AIT, and ultimately my first duty station. I had to earn additional income, where I really hit my stride in 2016 because, I met a new woman, because after multiple deployments and after being gone all the time, marriage is really hard to sustain when you never see your wife. So ultimately, me and my first wife ended up separating, and then you fast forward about a year or so, I met the woman of my dreams, we get married, we now have a newborn baby, we're moving across the country, buying a new house, starting all over again in Colorado. And I was still having to work kind of like side jobs and side hustles to make additional income because I was still trying to dig myself out of this hole that I had basically accomplished. Well, I was searching for more answers. I was searching for new answers, and I had wholesaled a couple houses, aka I got houses under contract at a discount and sold them for a little bit more. And that was working okay, but it's kind of hard to do that when you're working for 13 hours a day on the military base, or you're always in the field, always training, always gone. If you notice, history was repeating itself again for me, and now I had a newborn baby to see. I wanted to see my wife still. I wanted to be home with the baby often. So I was looking for a way to ultimately replace my income so I can get out of the military. Not specifically a side job, but also, almost a replacement of income. My goal was I was going to replace my income that I was making in the military so that one, I could be financially free, and then two, I wanted time freedom, and three, I wanted geography freedom to ultimately get out of the military. All right, so before I go any further, if you know of someone in the military looking for a side job or a side hustle, or maybe a friend that just needs to make an additional couple $100s a month, share this episode with them, share this video with them, and also, if you want to give me a little love, smash that like button also. How did I find that ultimate side job while I was in the military? Well, I was a listener to multiple podcasts. Anytime I was in the car, I would treat it as my mobile university. Well, I ended up having the opportunity to hear a guy that was so graciously to share his story about a guy that he was literally buying land at crazy massive discounts and flipping this stuff overnight and tripling and sometimes quadrupling his money. Literally, he would buy it for $500 and sell it for $2,000 the next day. I too wanted to do the same thing. So I took his advice on the podcast, and I went home and took immediate action, and I found all the parcels of land, because he was talking about flipping land overnight and quadrupling his money. I found all the parcels of land of people that were behind on their taxes and not paying their tax bills. Whether they inherited it or they just got tired of paying the tax bills, I don't care. I would mail them a postcard. And this postcard, I'll give it today for free by going to thelandsharks.com/postcard. Again, that's thelandsharks.com/postcard. It's on the screen. I'm gonna ask you for your name and your email address, and I'm gonna email that postcard to you. And I've bought tens of millions of dollars worth of real estate with this postcard. Again, I bought over 300 and something parcels of land that I already told you about. So I would mail this postcard. The first mailer was 687 postcards, and out of those 687 that I mailed, 85 people called me saying, yes, I'll sell you my land. So I had to return those calls on top of working 13-hour days, on top of always being gone, always training, and on top of a newborn baby keeping us up at night. So I had a lot of things that I had to climb that ladder, but luckily I had just read a book called The Miracle Morning that showed me how to time block and do the most important things in the beginning of the day. So I would get up at 4 a.m. every single morning. Now granted, you can't really make phone calls at 4 a.m., but you can text people. You can send emails. You can eat the frog first, like Brian Tracy would say. What does that mean? It's getting the most important thing done. And I would have to be on base by 6 a.m. every morning. So I'd have 2 hours. Those would be my power hours. That's how I built my business. That ultimately allowed me to bring in over $6,000 a month. And here's what's really cool about that. My expenses each month were only $4,500 at the time. So when I'm bringing over $6,000 a month within 9 months of hearing this guy on a podcast, that was a game changer for me. It changed my financial destiny. It allowed me to be able to take the shackles off. It allowed me to be able to put in my packet to get out of the military. As an officer, I had to put it in the packet, and luckily it was approved. So this was my ultimate side job in the military. And I wasn't quite doing a job. It was only taking me a couple hours a day, and a lot of times that was between 4 to 6 a.m., and I was able to accomplish that. So again, I hit over $6,800 a month in 9 months, and my bills were $4,500. And this was all accomplished by that one mailer, and I just continued to mail every single month after that and kept building and building and building that business. Now we're up to over 100 notes coming in every single month. We're buying larger parcels of land that we can build 32 townhomes on. I'm doing deals with other builders where we actually build on the land. So all that started with that one mailer. Guys, if you're interested in looking for the ultimate side hustle, the ultimate side job in the military, and hey, you might want to do 20 years. There's nothing wrong with that. I got out at 8.5 years because I wanted to be home more often. I now have 3 beautiful children. I get to eat breakfast with them, and I get to eat almost every single night dinner with them. So if you're interested in having someone hold your hand, show you the process, show you the action steps of exactly what to do and when to do it, and then be there to answer your questions, because you're going to have them. You're going to make mistakes as well, just like I did. But if I can help you avoid some of those mistakes by being your Sherpa, head on over to thelandsharks.com. That's thelandsharks.com. Schedule a call with me and my team. We'll see what your real estate investing goals are, and maybe you want to hear, some success stories of other students that have had success. I'm going to share a podcast interview that I actually got to do with my own father. My dad was hours away. My mom and dad were hours away from losing their house and their land to foreclosure, where they ultimately had to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and they ended up saving their property. But my dad has now done over 50-something land deals, and it has changed his financial future and allowed them a brighter outcome. So if you're interested in getting started, head on over to thelandsharks.com, schedule a call, or listen to the podcast interview I did with my father.